Just 20 seconds in Riohs Originate. When I walked in there, I saw an inscription to the left which said glowing of talent. And I'm being tutored by Richard Ohene Sika himself. He's introducing me to what this machine called the Brother can actually do. It's one of the things that would help you do an amazingly good job at Riohs Originate. What conversation are we having today? We're talking about the fashion industry, and you're welcome to Get Started, where our dreams of being great in the future begins. Today we're talking about how to stitch, how to sew, how to gather, how to make money, how to sign up, and how to do great within the fashion industry. So without much ado, let me go introduce you to my guest. He's right here with me, and I'm going to take a walk with him. You're welcome to another edition of Get Started with me, Jesse Japan. This is a program that encourages many individuals out there to get started with their dream. And today we're talking fashion, we're talking designing, we're talking about an industry that makes everything so uniquely distinct. It's the industry that gears you up with that right attire that you need to work. But behind the entire attire itself is the design work, it's the cutting, it's the stitching, it's everything else I have no clue about. So I've come here to Riohs Originate, and I'm speaking to the man who understands it all. His name is Richard Ohene Sika. It's in his name, the dream of driving many things to the very higher levels of society, and he'll be telling us exactly how to get started within the fashion industry. Richard, welcome to Get Started.
Thank you, sir.
You've got a fantastic place.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the entrepreneurship side of the concept of sewing or fashion or designing. Tell me about an entrepreneur like Richard. Every day, what do you go through? Because there are lots of young women and young men who come here all the time. And I'm assuming all of them are coming here with the mindset of being a super Richard one day. Tell me about the entrepreneur who's in this space.
So I'm just like every other business person. One of the biggest things is you wake up every single day and you ask yourself, what am I going to do to still keep myself relevant and to be able to change the life of people. And every single day I wake up, for example, knowing that I have 150 people's life to change. I have a responsibility to make sure that 150 people are supposed to become fashion designers in the next 4 to 6 months. And so you can imagine what goes through my head. I mean, sometimes when I'm doing something...
4 to 6 months?
Yes.
That's intense. Nice.
I mean, very serious. No matter where the person is coming from, no matter how the ideologies of these people, I just wake up each morning knowing that I am responsible for these people in just 6 months. So I have always lived a life of being very responsible because I know should something happen to me today when I'm sick, it means that even though we have a lot of people, I mean, I have very great guys, they don't need me around to do anything. But I mean, you are the leader and people are looking up to you, ideas and all of that. So risk a lot of things. It's a whole new thinking, critical thinking altogether. Yes.
Your institution teaches people how to sew or design stuff. You're not directly sewing for people to wear, are you?
No, we're not doing that.
Well, why did you choose this space?
So, for example, I wasn't so interested in the things I do, and they never looked so nice to me when I sew, because I feel I had some level of expectation. And when you ask anybody,
you criticize your own job.
Yes, that's what I do. And each of my students will say this every day. They bring me something and I'm like, look, it's still not there. So you can imagine when I am sewing for myself, what I can be saying. So I was never interested in my stuff. I realized that maybe I need to take a break and discover myself very well, which part is really, really the part that I am very interested in. So I figured that was just not my line. My line was to be able to teach, because way back in school, I could finish my work earlier and even teach my fellow people. So I realized that, if you could teach better.
Then be on the education side.
Yes, so why don't I just put all my powers in there? So I made this decision because I realized that I couldn't really appreciate my personal work very well, and I had some level of expectation. So I decided, let me rather teach people how they can take it to the next level. Yes.
We're speaking to Richard Ohene Sika. He's walking us through the journey of how he got to where he is today. When we come back on Get Started, we want to understand exactly what it means to build a module that empowers young men and women to be complete and amazing in just 4 to 6 months. What does that mean? And how can you take advantage of it? You're still watching Get Started. You can follow us on our social media handles at GetStartedGH on Facebook and on Instagram. So let's start having the conversation, and you can visit Riohs Originate anytime to have that conversation with them. We'll be right back. You're welcome back to Get Started. 6 months at Riohs Originate. What can you do? What can you achieve? That's a big question that I want to ask him. So I walk in here 2nd of January. By June, when I'm celebrating my birthday, what can I do for you out there? Tell me the mindset of the young entrepreneur who walks in. I see everybody who comes to your school as an entrepreneur. Yeah. Either he or she wants to sew for himself or for customers out there.
Yeah.
Tell me about the mindset of a neophyte when they walk in here the first time. What do you see? And how do you reassure yourself of that 6 months journey? Let's start with the mindset.
So, first of all, these people come in, and even though they have already heard or seen that people they could become fashion designers in just 6 months, it's still shaky. They usually know that people are learning in 4 years and other things, and they are not even very good. So coming in for just 6 months and we are telling you can do this, they accept it, but usually they still have their doubts. Some of them are like, I just want to try it and see
if it would work.
Yes, if it will work. That's what most of them come in with. And for some of them, 90% of the people who come here are usually by recommendations. And so for them, they are usually, some of them are like, I brought this. My friend who told me they didn't know anything, she came in and she was able to do it. So for such people, they are usually 50%. But to those who weren't recommended to by anybody, their faith is usually like 10%.
So you put all of them in a room.
Yep.
Do you have a predominant number that believes they want to start? They want to sew for big people. They want to see their names out there.
Yep.
Are they just here to sew for themselves, or they are here to take over the fashion industry?
Very well. So before you can join Riohs, you would have to do an aptitude test, an online aptitude test. That tells us exactly who you are and what you want to do, what you want to achieve, and all of these things. Majority of them feel this kind of independence. They feel at some point they want to do something on their own. And so that is the first thing. The other people who also want to come in and they're already doing things on their own, or they are working, they are very comfortable, but there's a passion. They just want to be able to sew something for themselves. So we have 2 categories of people who come in. Those who want to finish and make their business or leave their mainstream job and do this. And then to those who also want to stay wherever they are and do something for themselves.
From where you sit, let's talk about the things that gives you a reason to believe that somebody would go places. 2 or 3 things that when you see in somebody who's sitting behind the alpha machine, he's going places, she's going places.
Very well. So we have outlined these things on our website. We are saying that punctuality, the person's way of thinking, as in whether you think critically, and then whether you do your homework.
Okay.
Now, anybody who follows these things is automatic that you're going to be a successful person. If you don't do your homework, you dare not, believe that you can be a designer, because it's a very hard work. People will give you things and expect that you go the extra mile to do stuff for them. So purely doing your homework, discipline. When you're so disciplined in terms of punctuality, they are here on time and all of that, you are there.
Do you see a growing market? You've been operating for a couple of years. Have you seen a lot of people signing up to come for the programs? And are they signing up a lot more because there's a growing demand for the type of job that they have to do within the market?
Very well. So it's not basically just fashion, but art. Most people, I can say about 70% of the people in Ghana or in this world may have expressed some form of art when they were young, and their parents may have suppressed them that you need to go to school, you can do this now. And most of those people are now grown. They are doing their own business, and they feel at this point they want to go in for their passion. And so there's a very, very big market. It's very, very growing. Fashion is very big. Each and every day we are wearing something. I don't think fashion has ever been stable. What I know is that it is always growing, and it's even becoming more and more tripling. Every single year, the incomes and the things are going up and up and up. Yeah, so there are lots of people. For example, our course is increasing. We get about 500 applications, but we can only admit 150 just because of the kind of standards that we want to keep. And so we usually always have a backlog of people who may have to join the next batch. So it is always growing. We have students who have finished with this place and also opened up their businesses just like what we're doing, training people, and they have filling their places up already. And so it's a very, very growing.
It's a growing market. So let's talk about Riohs ahead. 5-10 years from now, what are we building? Is it an expanded university? Is it an expanded college? What are we looking for?
Very well. So that is what people expect. But to us, we clearly do not have plans to really build a university for now. We still feel that there are people like you and I who are not very, very interested in the university system of fashion. We have a lot of traditional universities in Ghana. We want to leave that kind of education to them. We want to be masters of people who provide the shortest possible time training in creativity to people. So we can talk of real expansion where we can take a lot of people, and then the quality of what we are doing, resourcing them, is one of the things that we want to do. So we are going to expand the resource center. We are going to make sure that people are more comfortable. The quality of what we are doing has been taken to the next level and the rest. But when we get to a point where we feel we are stuck and we want to do a university, we could think about it. But in the next 10 years, we should look at Riohs giving us a better value more than what we are experiencing now. And a wow factor.
A wow factor.
Yeah.
Typically, we use the last segment, the last part of the program to give you the chance to speak to the entrepreneurs who are watching us at home. So
I want to recommend to you that entrepreneurship has come to stay. The best countries in the world, known as the first world countries, are all countries that are more into entrepreneurship. Believe in yourself, whatever talent that you have, make sure that you add more value to it and then expand it and gain more resources from that. Entrepreneurship is good. Choose any field that you feel you have the passion for. If it is fashion, I recommend to you Riohs Originate Company Limited in Jolu that makes sure that in just 6 months, you're extremely very good when it comes to fashion, and you can see yourself becoming that top-notch fashion designer in the next 6 months. I believe in you, and so should you.
Thank you very much for watching Get Started with me, Jesse Japan. Like I always say, it's always scary until you get started. You have another opportunity to live your dream within a fashion space, and Richard and Riohs will walk you through it. I'll be with you again next week. Stay safe.